Hello, guys, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be bringing up a current event, and it's going to be regarding a traffic stop. Actually, a unwarranted, unjustified traffic stop. So, with the events that the news is giving us regarding police officers turning regular traffic stops into felony stops, it- it's embarrassing for me even to speak about this. Not embarrassing to me, but embarrassing to the actual law enforcement. You know, I never and I will never bring up my past when I made contact with law enforcement because that was another life ago. I mean, that was a long time ago. So, what does it have to do with the present, correct? But before, it was convenient and it was actually very helpful on my side to show credentials, right? So, I'm gonna be honest here. I got out of a couple of jams that were in my favor, but a couple of days ago, I was leaving town and actually stopping by my place of business. And on the way there, this is a business, actual commercial, actual area of a city. So as I was driving maybe about 2 blocks away from my destination, I passed up two patrol vehicles clearing a call a few blocks away. One of them was actually pulling out reverse. The other one was actually barely starting their engine. Their lights were there, right? So as I proceeded my 2 blocks, I see I see one individual police patrol unit uh, advance on me, and I told my passenger, just uh, be aware that this police car is coming up pretty quick. So I make my signal to my place of business, and as you can see, my place of business is like a horseshoe parking lot. One way in, one way out. So at this point, I'm already in my place of business parking lot, making the horseshoe turn. Mind, I tell you, no lights, no horn, no siren has been activated from both units. None whatsoever. So I continue my routine. I stop in front of my actual place of business. By now, there is a police officer blocking the exit of our parking lot. Still, no lights on, no siren has been activated. So I am in no way in any kind of control or any kind of direction from these police officers. Soon afterwards, I get off to conduct my business, and police officer facing me tells me to get back in my car. I said, okay. Can I ask you why? He paused for a minute. Well, it's because you have your earphones on. Okay, you got me. All right, fair enough. At that time, my passenger tells me, he just saw your earphones right now. There's no way they could have seen your earphones at night that fast. through their eyes. As a matter of fact, why didn't they light you up before you entered the premises? I said, okay. So I obliged. I get back in my vehicle. He's still at his actual doorway, waiting for his partner to come in through the rear to flank us on the right hand side, which he says to him in a, I don't know what kind of comment it was, but at this point, I'm going off of that traffic stop for the what do they call it? The ear pods? Okay. So, to my defense, okay, why block me in? Where am I going? Where am I fleeing to? Why am I fleeing? So as the one who actually is blocking my exit, which I'm not going anywhere, comes to my driver's side and explains to me about the earpod. I said, you know what? You're right. I said, my passenger has told me numerous times that I cannot have both of them on. It was just my not paying attention, just being, I didn't realize it when I was leaving my prior destination. Touche, you got me. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. At that time, he proceeds to ask for my ID. I said, okay, let me get it. So I'm scrambling around. I had disconnected my actual earpods to the actual my phone. So I'm looking behind me, and the officer asks, "Which, you know what? He is correct. Why am I reaching behind my pocket, behind my back, right?" And he asked me, "What are you reaching for?" I said, "I'm looking for my phone." He goes, "Well, I didn't ask you for your phone." I said, "I understand that, but my ID is in my phone. I have a case on my ID that has my IDs, both my government ID and my driver's license. I have both of them in my actual phone." By that time, I actually pulled it out, took out the actual driver's license, handed it to him. I didn't want him to see my actual federal ID because this is irrelevant. This is a routine traffic stop, so therefore, let's continue. I'm not gonna argue with him. I'm not gonna actually try to check my way out of this because there is no point of wasting our time. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it. If he's committed, he's committed. As soon as I had my ID, or my driver's license, I should say, my driver's license over, uh, he proceeds to ask for my passenger's identification. And I looked at him. I said, what is, okay, so this is about the actual, a traffic stop, right? So what does my passenger have to do with this? Okay, so hold on. We'll get back to that. My passenger tells him, I do not have it on me, which was true. It was in her backpack behind my truck. But she told him that she did not have it on her. Not that she didn't have one, not that she had anything to hide. She did not have her on her person. I didn't catch that. So they took her information by paper, and at that point, he proceeds to ask me if I've ever been arrested. At that point, I looked at him, I said, no. I asked my actual partner, and the answer was also no. Now, at this point, I am going through the motions of exactly focusing on his questions and not talking too much, not giving out information that's irrelevant here, right? And he proceeds to actually give the paper written information on my passenger and my driver's license to the officer who was behind me. Yet no lights are on. hands it over to him. He goes over to his vehicle, to his partner's vehicle, the one that's blocking him off, right? Spends about 5 minutes, enough for this other deputy to ask more questions to see if anything's worth checking out, because he's lighting up the inside of my cab and he's lighting up my personal property behind my truck, which has no camper shell, but has a net to protect it. Okay? So I'm good there. At that point, he asked me, are there any warrants going to be popping up? I'm still just biting my tongue. What does it have to do with my infraction of having the airplanes? I feel like telling him that, but I'm not gonna play his game. So then he proceeds to ask my passenger. Both answers negative. There were no active warrants that were coming out on this actual information that we gave you and my actual driver's license. So now the actual the other deputy, the one supposedly calling the info, now he comes out of his vehicle, his partner's vehicle, and it's between the vehicle and my actual truck. And now he's gonna run our names. What was he doing back then? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know what kind of technology they're actually screening behind that vehicle, but no. Mm-hmm. He spent some time back there. Now he wants to run our actual information. So the actual deputy who's inside my actual door asking the questions, he is very vague and very inaudible. I cannot understand exactly what he actually asked, but he made sure that I heard drug abuse, drug arrest. Okay, before we're going to get back to where we started first when I paused earlier, right? So if you are a convicted felon and it has to do something with drugs, you give up your rights. You have no more rights after that conviction, and therefore they can search your vehicle from head to toe. If your passenger has waived that actual right, they have the right to search your vehicle because you have that actual passenger in your vehicle. So just by somebody having that actual conviction, you've waived your rights. So therefore, whoever that person hanging around with, they're all subject to search, unfortunately. So that's what they're actually fishing for. If somebody has that track, oh, forget it. The whole vehicle is getting searched, and whatever's in there, and see how it plays out. You gotta be very, very careful who you have in your vehicle. If they have priors, if they have any kind of dope on them, they can and will search them and also include you on that actual search. So you got to be very, very careful because they've given up their rights. But me and my passenger, we have not given up their rights. And I looked at him and I said, excuse me, I don't have any convictions. I never have. Never asked my passenger. Right? By that time, he runs our names. Nothing comes up at all. At that point, he starts asking about my job. Does not having a job make me suspicious? Does it not make me a convict? No job? I looked at him, I said, I've been employed with the same company for over 20 years. And he stayed quiet. And I threw it in there. I said, you know what? But they just retired me, and I'm just trying to find my third career in life. You know. And he proceeded to say, "Oh, that he was sorry to hear that I had lost my job after 20 years." And I said, "Oh, you know, everything has to come to an end, you know." And I said, "Oh, I'm working, you know, I'm all right." And he asked me how much I rented my place of business. I gave him my price, and he answered, "That's a lot of money for a rental." And I said, "It's worth it." I said, "It's worth it. I'm comfortable, and I don't have a problem with paying the actual rental on this actual place of business for me." And he proceeds to say, "Well, you know, just I'm not going to write you up for ear pods. It just, you know, consider it a warning, and just remember not to have both ears on at the same time." I said, "That's fine. All right, thank you." And they proceed to actually walk away, get into the actual vehicles. Now, how does a regular traffic stop turn into an actual witch hunt for a felon, for drug abuse, for drug possession, for restaurants? Mine, I have not been in contact with or a ticket. I think I got a ticket about 8 years ago for speeding. That's about it. But that high patrol officer, he just boom, got, he was on to the next driver, you know, on to the next ticket. So he was just boom, boom, boom. Nothing about questioning about drug abuse, contact with law enforcement, parole, probation, arrestment, nothing like that. And this is what this should have been, a regular traffic stop with an infraction, and I pay it and deal with the DMV. But these officers are actually looking for felons. They're actually looking for actual uh, criminals that should be given a second chance, and sometimes they're not. That's what bothered me the most. Is how about if I was actually trying to see myself or trying to make my life better for me and my family, and I mean your parole, your probation. If you have contact with police officers, they can actually pull it. And if this poor individual got pulled over for breaking the law with two iPods in his ears instead of one, they can pull his parole, they can pull your probation, they can, and then everything that you're trying to recuperate, you lose. That's not cool, man. That's not cool at all. Because I know personally a few actual individuals that are trying to actually better themselves, that are even hesitant about even going out and living life because of the fact that they don't want to make contact with law enforcement. And unfortunately, these guys are looking for that type of actual call, you know? I didn't break the law. Did not have anything to do with law breaking. I did not have anything to do with actual parole, felony, or drug. So just for two earpods in my ear instead of one with the laws. And I'm just telling you my story. This does not make me an anti-law enforcement, pro-law enforcement, pro-probation, pro-parole. This is just what I went through, but not everybody has that actual luxury of knowing your rights, you know? And that's what bothers me the most, and when people are more vulnerable to these type of searches, right? He did not search, but he did check with the light. He snooped around. He peeped in, you know? All right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.